Guys, so today I am here to review probably one of the best reads I've had this year, and the book is called The Immortalists by Chole Benjamin. So to start off, this book completely blew me away, and I'm so glad I got a chance to read it before it came out. This book is coming out January 9th of 2018, and I received an ebook copy in return for an honest review from NetGalley. And I just want to thank the publishers for accepting my request to read this book, because I'm so happy I got a chance to review this. And it's just such an amazing book, and I cannot wait to tell you guys about it. So let's get started with the review. How do I put this book into words? Because it captures so much that it's just really hard to say what this book is truly about. Essentially, we follow four siblings who seek out a fortune teller in their town that predicts the date of when someone's going to die. So they go to this fortune teller, and each of them separately get told when they're going to die. And so as the story progresses, the book is divided up into 4 parts, and each part follows one of the children as they kind of deal with the idea of when they're going to die, and also just the issues that are going on during this time. We have the youngest boy named Simon, who is living out his life in San Francisco, and we have the youngest daughter named Clara, who is an aspiring magician and wants to just be able to show people magic and help them believe in the more mysterious things in life. And then we have the oldest brother, Daniel, who is a doctor for the military, and we have the oldest daughter, Vira, who becomes a well-to-do scientist and is looking into ways to improve mankind's longevity. So all of these characters are like very different, but they're all very linked together because they're siblings, and also because they each kind of share the same fate where they know when they're gonna die. And it's interesting to see what actions the characters take and what different actions they take, because they each kind of react to the news in a different way, and some of the death dates are better than others. So it's just very interesting on how each character reacts to the news and how it kind of affects what they do with the rest of their lives. And it's a really interesting story, and I love how much effort Chole Benjamin took into really researching the stories, because each story is so rich and each character just feels so unique and interesting that I really enjoyed it. The characters are just so diverse and so full of depth that I really enjoyed the characters in this book, and especially the minor characters. Like, I really loved the main characters, the 4 siblings, but the minor characters really stuck out very well too. We have a character named Ruby, who's one of the siblings' daughters, who kind of just grows up to be this really interesting and intriguing character. And then we have the siblings' mother, who kind of comes up in each story in a different way, but while she's not a huge main character in the story, her presence permeates through the entire story, and it's just really interesting. She's by far one of the most intriguing characters in the story, and also offers this comedic relief sometimes when you feel like you need it. So I just really liked her character a lot. I don't know, it's hard to really talk about this story without revealing too much of what the plot is, but essentially there is this theme of family and how families connect with each other and how they separate. And it's interesting because I actually have a younger sister and 2 older siblings, so it's kind of like a similar dynamic. And it's interesting to see how, while all these siblings love each other, they're not always talking to each other and they're not always communicating. And it's like very similar to my family dynamic, and it was just interesting to see this come out and see how much, despite their their communication issues, that this family loves each other so much, and you really get to see that throughout the story, even when they're fighting or when they're arguing or they're having these different disagreements. It's very clear that this family loved each other and were very united. And I think that while the death predictions do play a major part in the story, and it brings like a sense of mystery to the story, but this is much more than just about the predictions of when they're gonna die. And I don't know, I just think this is such an amazing book. The writing is really beautiful. I don't know, the characters really brought this story together, and I've never read something that had such fleshed out characters. Even the minor characters felt very real and just true to themselves, and I just really enjoyed that of the book. And I think the plot works really well too, and it kind of just brings everything together in this really wonderful way. And honestly, I don't know if there's anything bad I can say about this book. There were some times where I was questioning where this was going and whether or not I was going to enjoy the ending, but I found that the actual ending of this book just was so satisfying to me and just was the perfect ending to this book that I just absolutely loved it. And I have to say, I'm going to read anything that Chole Benjamin writes, because her writing is so great, and I respect that she takes such time and research to actually cover these stories. Because the oldest daughter, she is a scientist who's working in this research program with primates to test how different living variables affect a person's longevity. And the amount of detail that she puts in explaining the research and explaining how the process works just was really interesting. And it's something that wasn't necessarily vital to the plot, but it definitely made the book feel more real and just added those interesting elements to it that I just thought were really, really amazing about this book. So yeah, I cannot gush more about this book. I would recommend it to anyone. Honestly, this is something that I think everyone would find interesting. I think there's something about each of the four siblings that anybody can really connect to, and even if not, you're definitely find one of the minor characters that will speak to you. And I think there's just amazing representation in this book as well. There's talking about issues of being LGBTQ. There's talking about issues of race. There's issues about race. There's issues about people's sexuality, and this book is also very diverse. There's issues about race, sexuality, and mental disorders that are done so eloquently and are brought up in a way that doesn't feel like it's just there to be there. It's just a very interesting story, and I'd have to say I highly recommend it to anybody that enjoys literary fiction or anybody that just likes the family dynamic. I think this book would be amazing to check out. I do have to say though, there are a few triggers, and there is a suicide in this book, so if you feel like that would trigger you, there's a few characters that deal with depression, so this book is a little dark and gloomy at times, so that's something you probably should be prepared for. So if you're in a place where you don't feel like you could handle those situations, I would be wary of reading this book. It does get a little depressing, and this book is really sad, but I think if you can get through those sad parts, it's got a lot of optimism to it, and I think despite all the tragedy that happens, there's a good ending to this story. So thanks so much for watching this. If you have read The Immortalists, or if this has been on your radar, please let me know. I hope everyone gets a chance to pick up this book because I can't recommend it enough. It's amazing, and as soon as this book comes out, I will definitely be picking up a copy of it to have in physical form. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye!